Well, one of the key features of Lockdown 4.0 is that e-commerce players can resume operations. The centre has removed restrictions on online retail. Firms can deliver non-essential items in red zones as well. This has been a demand now for several weeks. Non-essential products do constitute the majority of online sales. Now, the sector itself is relatively new in India and it is huge. India registered $35 billion in online sales in 2019. The share of groceries in online retail stood at $2 billion in 2019, and the Indian e-commerce market is expected to grow to $200 billion by 2026. That's not too far away. That's, of course, assuming that the economy really ramps up in the days ahead. Joining us, a very special guest. Amit Agarwal is the head of Amazon India. He joins us now from the United States. Firstly, the move to allow all items to be delivered, what does this mean not just for Amazon but for the entire chain of producers, of people who actually deliver, the entire chain of activity both in the country and from all your suppliers to India from outside?
Yeah, I think as we look at the current crisis and we look at the weeks and months going forward, social distancing and remaining safe has to continue to be an important priority for citizens and for our nation. In that context, both e-commerce and Amazon is going to play a very important role to allow the small businesses and the other brands to service the need for consumers. So, and we take the responsibility very seriously. I think the current relief that has come after 50 plus days is very welcome, both by consumers who have been looking forward to get access to a lot of other products, not just grocery, that are priority products. So whether you think about working from home, kids' engagement at home, or just personal grooming and many other areas where they have been looking to get hand on that product so that they can actually be more productive and get back to a little bit of normalcy mindset while they continue to deal with this crisis. And when you look at the small businesses in the chain, on the other hand, they have basically been stalled, and this allows them to get their business started, jump-started, and the livelihoods that depend upon them around them also get jump-started. I think this is going to help revive the economic activity a little bit. There are lots of other sectors, so I don't want to sort of make light about the challenge ahead for the nation, but this is an important sector where the economic activity can get started, jobs can get started. We are in the middle, gluing this together. We have tens of thousands of associates. We have made 100 plus significant changes in our entire ecosystem and supply chain to keep safety as our number one priority and to allow our associates be safe. And those are the additional jobs that would track the demand that gets created. So I think on a whole, relief is very important for the ecosystem.
Sure. I'm just trying to understand where is the demand? How is demand going to be spurred in a present scenario like this? Because a lot of people would suggest that while the government did come out with lots of measures, was there enough to spur demand in a situation where people are losing jobs, companies are closing down, GDP growth is almost negative?
I think if you kind of look at the spectrum of things that customers consume, there might be discretionary spends that they make, but there's a lot of consumption that customers make that they need to lead their lives normally. As I said, working from home is a very important priority. Keeping kids engaged at home is a very important priority in the context of schools being closed and learning cannot stop. So there are a whole set of activities that customers will continue doing, and we are seeing the demand already. I mean, just if I look at last 24, 48 hours, the orders placed by customers against a selection out there has gone up 3 times. And if I just look at pre-COVID, we are seeing anywhere between 35 to 50% more orders than we used to say before the lockdown started. So I think this is not to say that this is kind of the general pattern. All I'm trying to say is there are real needs that have been paused, that don't need to get paused, because customers do need to lead their lives while they also keep themselves safe, and we jumpstart livelihoods.
But Mr. Agarwal, what you said just now is really interesting. It's fascinating. You're saying that in the last 48 hours, you have seen a 50% enhancement in orders placed online than Amazon India saw in the pre-COVID period. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm talking about the data that our sellers are seeing. So it's anywhere from 35 to 50% higher than what it was pre-COVID, and that's because, and it's just a short period of time, and it's all a pent-up demand that over the last
Right.
55 days customers have been waiting. So it's hard to draw any kind of projections. It's very too early to even do that. But all I'm trying to say is that people need certain products to lead their lives normally, and that need will remain. What what we need to see is if the discretionary spend that they had would come back, and in what shape or form they'll come back. And it's again very early, but that's something that's a very different question.
So, in the last few weeks, when you weren't allowed to deliver all your items, only essential items in restricted areas, there was a preference made by the government to allow small shops in neighborhoods to open, kirana shops as they were. And there has always been an element of stress between the big companies like Amazon, Flipkart and others, and the small kirana shops. Do you believe going forward that that stress will continue?
I think if you look at the voices of hundreds of thousands of businesses that already use Amazon, and even the ones that are embracing technology, leaning forward, thinking about their future, the narrative is very different. So we did a survey recently of about 2,000 shops and small businesses, asking them that as the crisis unfolds and as they get back to normal, what do they need most? More than 75% of them said they need help from a company like Amazon so that they can reach their customers online to supplement the footfalls, which, by the way, would get impacted as social distancing measures are put in place and they keep themselves and their customers safe. So I feel that Amazon and e-commerce has a very important role to play as customer needs are met and as small businesses get back online, and not just to reach customers nationally, reach customers globally as more and more manufacturing comes in India, but also reach customers in their locality in a safe manner.
Yeah.
We actually have been working with a lot of ideas over the last few weeks, and we've launched a few of them. I know one of them was this program called Local Shops on Amazon. What that does is it allows sellers with specific capabilities to reach their local customers. And within 24 hours of launching that, more than 1,000 shops queued up to sign up.
Yeah.
So clearly, the narrative from forward-leaning, technology-embracing, real entrepreneur small businesses is very different. And our job is to remain focused on serving them, remain focused on serving customers, and the rest will take care of itself.
Now, do you see the sector heating up in a big way with Facebook investing in Reliance Jio, that they are targeting a different part of the market with WhatsApp and its payment window service once it does open up? What does that mean for Amazon, and what does that mean for us, people like me and you as consumers?
You know, our focus right from the day one we started in India has been centered on customers. And the strategy has been about giving customers access to maximum selection, maximum convenience, and great value. And the way we have done that is by using technology to empower any business anywhere in India that has an intent to grow with technology so that they can reach customers in their locality, nationally, and globally. That strategy and that approach is more relevant than ever before. I mean, if you just think about kind of the future, that is relevant as ever before. And in fact, we had announced a pledge when Jeff Bezos was here to invest an incremental $1 billion, primarily focused on MSMEs, so that we can digitize an incremental 10 million MSMEs, increase exports by an additional $10 billion out of India, and create 1 million jobs by 2025. That pledge remains. I think that pledge is more important than ever before. And we see this crisis as a great opportunity for us, an important responsibility for us, and we are very, very grateful that we can be of help. And by the way, in all of this mix, one thing gets lost is the empowerment of authors and content creators as they publish books using Kindle self-publishing and Prime Video. You know, that whole industry of creators is seeing great relief because of the services that we provide,
No, absolutely.
so that they can
That's
keep
been
expressing
huge.
themselves.
I think all of us have been rather dependent on Prime Video, Netflix and the others during this period. One final question to you. I see what you're saying about the sector, about demand and the reasons why you believe that demand will exist, particularly for Amazon in your case. But if you look at a recent NASSCOM survey, 90% of startups are suffering revenue losses, 30 to 40% have halted operations or are closing down, 70% of startups have cash for less than 3 months. If we do look at startups, those who are interested in the online business, is that not a concern? I know it's not related directly to Amazon and what you bring in, but it is a reflection of the economy and this sector. Where do we in India stand then in this sector?
Well, I think these are unprecedented times, and I think all of us need to do our bit to help revive economic activity, to get people back on their feet in their lives, livelihood in their lives. So I can only speak for kind of the important responsibility that we have to aid that. Delivering what customers need, empowering businesses of all sizes to get their business back online, building a logistic ecosystem that is safe and is providing employment at scale. As manufacturing in India gets back to normal, taking those Make in India products global, there are various ways that we are assisting and have an important role to play. And our hope is that will revive the economic activity in those specific circles, which would have its own impact on job creation. And by the way, all of this has to work together. And I can only talk about the role that we need to play. We take that responsibility very seriously.
Right.
And we're very grateful that we can be of help.
All right. Well, Amit Agarwal, it's always a pleasure speaking to you, all as forthright as ever. But I'm sure you would accept that the challenges in the road ahead are strong, not just for Amazon, other companies, but indeed for the entire economy. Wonderful speaking to you and getting your views. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.